they don't get those kinds of opportunities. I think that's the reason, yeah.
But for someone who has positioned himself as a celebrity blogger,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, once you are Googled,
That's what comes
that's
up.
what comes out. So if for an institution, let's say agriculture, ADB, for I don't want to make mistakes, Agriculture Development Bank, for a banking institution to get your attention or seek your service, that I find a bit ambiguous. And what at all will you be doing for them that connotes what you do or may connect to celebrities as you are perceived?
Yeah.
What at all do you do differently?
Well, so I think when I started off, celebrity entertainment was the core, but some way along the journey, I added lifestyle to it. So I now also bring in the lifestyle component. And so under the lifestyle, a lot of these things sit there. And I also avail myself to do lots of different campaigns, from environment to anything. And so all these work that I do sort of allows it to connect with these bodies when they are looking for people. And also it shows the kind of audience I have, because I don't restrict it. I open it up. So if you are into sustainability goals, do you find somebody who is following me because sometimes I speak about that? And so it's all part of the strategy. I don't want it to be all fun and sometimes not so serious stuff. I combine the two sides. So I think lots of these people are seeing that. And the African Development Bank, for instance, I started working with them for the very first time when they were doing their annual general meeting in Ghana. And since then, they liked the result they got. And so every other thing that they are doing, no matter where it's being held, they approach me and see if I will be happy to work on the project. And so far, it's been good. And we've done, there's a number of the Zaire Sustainability Prize, which is also in the Emirates. I've done work with them for, I think it's the 4th year that we are working together, and there are similar ones. For me, it's always important to give value to those that want to work with you, and they see the reason to always come back.
In this case, do you apply for those gigs? Do you send them proposals, or you have a team that always doing that for you, or it's because of, just as you mentioned, the way you've positioned yourself. And so once they look at a table, they know that this one comes tops, or this one is below, this one is the right person. How do you do it? Do you send them proposals?
Exactly. I hardly ever send proposals, but I've made myself very accessible. So across platform, if you want to email me, if you want to even call me, there's a way you can connect. So when they see me as a fit, then they approach me. And sometimes some of them also use agencies. And so it's the job of the agencies to look for who will fit what they are looking for, and then the agency will contact you.
So is your job enviable?
Well, I don't think it is, because there are other people doing it. But as much as possible, I try to live the job, experience it, and because without a job, I'm really boring. There's not so much. There's not so much to my life. So I use that to experience different things, and people sometimes see part of it, and maybe they're enviable. They want to also do that, but it doesn't just come on a silver platter. And even when it comes, you must be a little bit conscious to know that you must do ABC to sustain it over a period, because it can get crazy that there's attention on you, and it can get into the heads of people. But I think you have to be level-headed and well-grounded, so that you are allowed to grow naturally from one stage to the other.
But what have you done to keep the brand so relevant?
Well, I think it's finding. I think most of my followers, those who follow me, they connect with me, and I find time to connect with them.
Do you interact with them? I
do interact with them, so they feel like they are part of. They know me. I mean, since I started using this cousin, everybody's my cousin. Some of my followers also say they are my cousins, and so it's like a community. And so that community grows with you, and then you try to bring on board new ones. And I think also as a person, you should reinvent yourself, find new ways. I mean, I'm getting old. There are some things that people are doing I wouldn't even want to do, but I have a team that's younger, and so I allow them to experience some of those things, and they focus on that, so that again we don't lose out on the audience that may like that kind of thing. So I think it's important to sort of reinvent yourself. Things are changing, and you have to change with it. So you realize how I've even been able to grow on social media platforms is because anytime something is coming, I try to get in early, grow with it, but I don't follow the trends. I find my voice, I maintain my voice, and grow on that platform. So I think that has been, and also I see it as a job, so I have to make sure it's going the long haul.
But you are one of the few, if not the first, but one of the few bloggers that entered into celebrity and lifestyle blogging. At a point, it was like about 90% of the others had joined the bandwagon. They had also entered in that space. Did you feel threatened some way, somehow?
No, I mean, I've never really felt threatened, because I always feel like what I'm doing is very different from what everybody else is doing. And I think one of the things that made me unique was the fact that I chose to use my name, my real name, and so it made it very different when the audience wanted to connect with you. You became a voice, you became a person that people could relate with. And a lot of the people, they may have that visibility, but not everybody can connect with them on that level. And just my interest, the things that I pursue, I feel is different. So for me, it's always do what I'm doing and do it well and excel, not look at what everybody else is doing. Because most of the time, sometimes we are the same event, but what will come out from the things I will focus on will be different from what everybody else is focusing on. So that individuality, I think, is important. And I don't see people with that same focus as I am. So I don't feel threatened.
Not at all.
Not at all. With the millennium.
But you mentioned your real name. What called for that? Didn't you have a nickname back in school?
Well, I did, but I think it's also the time, because we registered that this name, the domain, just like it was like a joke. Because before that, I had a blogspot, so I was using the blogspot to do it, and I was also contributing every now and then to Ghana celebrities. So the owner, Chris, was like, let's start your own one. And so we were looking for the name for it. And I think I jokingly said, let's do Ameyaw Debrah. Because I think also around that time, one of the more popular bloggers was Paris Hilton. Although it wasn't his real name, but you felt there's someone called Paris Hilton. And so you wanted to associate with that person. So I thought having a name would be cool. And around that time, to my Facebook, social media was all making sense. I wanted to link everything.
And before that, which name were you using?
So the blogspot was called Jaded Renegade.
What?
I don't know. It was called Jaded Renegade. Yeah. So I mean, it had its own character, because I could review things and feel free and all of that. And now I just switched it to Ameyaw Debrah.
Some kiddie lies that you were clapping back, clapping at people. But what called for that name though?
So I can't even remember, because it's been I think it was because I had a column somewhere that was called Jaded something. I've forgotten, but I chose that Jaded Renegade.
What, Jaded what?
Renegade.
Renegade. Was that your nickname in school?
No. Nickname never really stuck, because everybody wanted to call you different names. I think the one that really stood longest would be Anaconda, because when I was in a disco at that time, Anaconda, the movie had come out, and you were tall, and so everybody was now calling you Anaconda. So that stuck for at least 3 years before.
Did you avoid it?
No, I didn't. I mean, I think it felt cool for somebody to want to And that time it was the movie. I think they serialized it. There was part 1, there was
Okay.
part 2. So the name never died until I completed.
Right, I see. Do you do jobs locally?
Yes. I do.
Yeah. This answer, yeah.
Yes, because I think I'm pretty much based here, and so majority of my work should come here, come from here. But of course, I do get a lot of the international gigs also. But primarily, yes, I think I do a lot of
the talk of town is that you are so expensive. Hey, Ameyaw Debrah, really? Charlie, we'll go get some of the young ones. Charlie, hey, Ameyaw, why you go be pay?
But at the end of the day, that's what people assume. But when they see my rate, they realize that it's not that much. And I'm always also about value. So for instance, somebody, you go and they'll charge you something and they'll post it on Instagram or something. But I try to spread it across. I'm doing a package that would get you something on Instagram, something on Facebook, something on Twitter, and sometimes something on LinkedIn as well. So for me, it comes back to giving value to the client, and I don't want to overprice it. I don't want to underprice it. So something that sits in, and then you also have the option to say, I don't really need Instagram. Let's do this platform. So I try to do that. It's not so expensive now.
Let's get into family. Let's know you better. Where you from?
So I'm from Obominkwo.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Check out for them piece, guy.
Oh,
I go for the live money,
yeah. So I mean,
Wow.
that's what. So my dad is half Kwo, half Asante, and my mom is also half Kwo and half something. So
Half something.
I'm like, so I'm Kwo in the middle.
Okay.
So
I see.
yeah.
How was childhood?
It was fun. I think I grew up in the family for a very long time. It was just me and my older brother, and
Is he the guy you've been?
no, that's my younger one.
Oh,
He's
okay.
9 years younger.
Oh, okay. He
so-
looks so much like you anyway.
Yeah.
The one you call
the
your-
one is Paco.
The one you call your chauffeur?
Yeah. He's a younger one.
Okay.
So I mean, for a long time it was us, and the reason why it was just us was also my parents were in the UK, and at some stage they left us with they've been too far. You left us in Nkoko with our grandparents, and so we lived there until they came, and then we came back to Accra. And I think my dad was the kind that always tried to make life comfortable for us, and so he gave us the best he could. And you ask, he would give you, and just make sure that you are delivering. If it's academics, you're doing well, and all of that. So it was a nice childhood.
I see. So what? 3 brothers?
So 3 brothers, 1 sister. There's a girl after me, and then a boy.
So you are the
I'm the second.
Okay. And your name, Ameyaw Debrah.
Yes.
You never had an English name?
So my English name is Jeffrey, but I think I only use it at the very early stages in school. But afterwards, when I got to Engelbert, I just reduced it to Ameyaw. Even the Kisi, I wasn't so much using it. I started using the Kisi, I think, from the university.
So kindergarten, primary.
Yes. So most of it, when we came to Accra, most of it now started from Engelbert International at the airport. So I did primary through to JSS, and then I went to secondary school at senior secondary school at Adisado, and then from there I went to Tech.
Oh, really? Tech boy.
Yeah.
Key University. Now, hobby.
Nami wa Unity.
Conti! Yay!
Conti Power.
Conti power. Wow. I see. But is rumored you're related to Papi Kojo?
So it's a family friendship. People they say we look alike, but there's no blood connection. Papi, when he was in Italy, I think became friends with us via social media, and then when he came back to Ghana, at some point he stayed in our family home also until he finally got that break eventually. And I was sort of helping out, so I had a manager title that I wasn't really performing, but we had that until he got that real lucky break and where he is now.
I see. But for someone who had been to the university, very good education, could it be that you didn't find a job after school?
Not quite. Everything, I was quite fortunate. So when I was in tech, I won the best publishing student award.
So you did publishing in
I
school?
did publishing in school. And that prize was...
Was that your major?
Yes, I majored in publishing administration. So when I won that award was sponsored by Ovation Magazine. And Ovation Magazine gave me the opportunity to do my national service with them. So when time came for...
In Nigeria?
Here in the airport as well. So when the time came, I waited for my natural posting and they took me to National Service Secretariat. I was like, Charlie, I'm not going to get... If I go there, I'm not going to really learn much that is linked to me. So I remembered Ovation had given me that option. So I reached out to them and said, I would like to come and do the service. So they wrote a letter and then I switched to do the service there. And from there, that was like the introduction to the media work. I started writing, interviewing people. And once I saw that people were liking what I was doing, because Ovation also introduced a weekly newspaper called Star, and I created a column there. And I put my email there, and I was getting emails, people really liking what I was doing. So I was like, then I should do more of it. So
what were you writing about? Showbiz?
It was showbiz, but so I was doing something similar to what maybe Francis Doku was doing, or Arnold is doing now. So it was I would review pretty much all the entertainment happenings in the week, put my spin on it, what I think, and all of that. And yes, people like that. So I now also started going online, publishing some of these things until I joined a project from the Netherlands. It's called Voices of Africa. What they did was they gave Nokia phones to young journalists across the continent, and we're supposed to use this phone to do videos, edit and do everything on the phone, and then we upload.
Oh, not the old ones? Not the 33 things?
No. This was quite high-tech a little bit, so you could edit and do everything. And through that project, I was invited to come and speak about our project in South Africa, Rhodes University. There was a conference called Highway Africa Summit. At that time, the whole digital thing was now starting. So this conference, we discuss what the trends are, and that was going to represent them on what we were calling mobile reporting. So really focus and present myself as a blogger, just like these people who came. So when I came back to Ghana, I now started doing more of the blog. I already had one on Blogspot, so I now started pushing it more and using social media to give it that visibility. Around that time, also Ghana Web found me, and so they got me to be their content editor. And so they set me up. I had an internet thing, everything at home, so I was managing the Ghana Web entertainment content, as well as most of the lifestyle. Like if you want the clubs in Ghana, I was the one who was writing.
This was in which year?
This was around 2009. There was a lot of overlaps. So sometimes I'm here and I'm because online you're able to do multiple things. So I was doing the Ghana Web thing until a year when the owner from Holland came to Ghana, and you will hear on radio ABCD party, media partners, Ameyaw and it's like, hey, this year, Ameyaw Debrah, I thought it was a small thing over. So that now started raising issues about conflict of interest. And it's like, okay, now let's do it. Ghana Web, Ameyaw Web, so that you are reading. So we went back and forth. I was like, okay, I think now the ultimatum was it's that or you leave. And I was like, well, I think I'm on to something. At that time, Ameyaw Debrah was popular, all right, but it wasn't something that could make me money enough and to now leave a salaried job to go and do all of that. I was like, let me take that gamble because the prospect seems to be there. But I mean, at that time, I understood the digital space was not ready enough to make all of us enough money. But I was like, let me just give it a try. And I did. And now I started adding more strategy in terms of if I was doing something for free before, now if you came, I'll charge you a token. And it started from there to now I started getting advertising, and other deals started coming in. And also the space started growing. The business community was not only looking to traditional media when it comes to advertising. And kakra asoyin also we are now.
All of these on your website, were you publishing controversial stuff, something of interest?
Well, I've never been that controversial person. Controversy has never been like something that I...
You know the reason I asked? Because when you were saying, when you said you were writing stuff about your opinion, and I knew that there are certain things that will go on, and you just like, these people, make us show them something small. The thing you do be yawaka. So because when you become opinionated,
that was never the angle.
Okay,
mine was I had a voice. I thought something needed to be said, and I needed to say it the way I thought it should have been said. And so that it wasn't like, let me show them pepper for me, and that's geared me on more because people now agreed to that voice, and I knew that people understood and wanted more of that, and so I went. So it wasn't from that position of, oh, I'm a powerful person, let me show this person. It's more important for me to say something that people will connect and say that is true than just bringing somebody down.
Do you see yourself as very powerful?
Well, I don't want to think about it that I'm powerful, because when you think about it so much, it can lead you to do over. But for me, I rather like the fact to say that you have influence, and so with that you want to do some sort of impact, and even if it's just giving a shout out to a kenke seller and somebody going to buy that kenke, that is impact for that person, and so I look at it more from that perspective.
Let's stay on that. How influential are you?
Well, so I mean, I think I'm quite influential because you get results. And again, for me, feedback is always good. So sometimes I do something, I feel it didn't even connect. And then a few years down the line, the person you did it for is singing praises somewhere else. I'm like, oh, really? Did it work that much for the person? Because that's the only way I'm able to measure how these things are working. And it's interesting. Sometimes, I remember last time, there was somebody who called me that had interviewed him, and some people from Dubai were interested because they had seen that interview, and they came to Ghana to have a meeting with him just because of that interview. And for me, this is part of that impact that I want my work to have.
Ameyaw Debrah is my special guest. In case you just tuned in, you're listening to Hits 103.9 FM. A lot of messages are coming in for you. The first I see on my radar is Kobiche, blogger Kobiche. It says, legend. God bless Mr. Ameyaw. Kobe Jones fan says, one of the few bloggers I look up to. Ameyaw Debrah inspires me a lot as a young blogger through his works. Looking forward to meet him. I love him and admire his work. Keep doing the good work, sir. God bless you, hero. I'm Kobe, blogger and social influencer. Thomas Wancho Doggy Steven says, I think I know him from a disco. Yeah, be a disco boy.
A disco boy.
Which year were you there?
So I finished in 2000.
Okay. Rich Kobe Brown says, good morning, Mr. Dusty. I worked with Ameyaw one time on an advert for a hotel, and Andy, this man is down to earth. Bless you, sir. Keep up the good work. Thomas Dog says, please ask him his house when he was in a disco.
Elliot House.
What, Elliot? Oh, I see. Obin Flex says, Boss Andy, good morning. Please tell Mr. Ameyaw I adore his personality and work. Boss, please let him bless me. I'm seriously bringing my kids to understudy at his side. Please ask him about any plans. Charles, Kojo, Jan, Obin, do you have any?
Any plans for?
Teaching or mentoring people.
Well, I mean, I do that every now and then when people organize events and plug that in. But on my own, I haven't been able to do that yet. Maybe in the future. I was in talks with some group. We went to do a module around that was more social media marketing. So we create that content and it's up there. People can subscribe and go through the course. So I always like to partner with people to do that.
Charles Marfo says, Brandy, please, today is my birthday. Oh, you are live inside Prudential Bank, Ring Road Central. Happy birthday to you, Charles Marfo. God bless you. Kweku Louis says, I like his demeanor and how he takes his time to react. Kobe Aduchim says, keep up the good work, Mr. Ameyaw. God bless you more. Dennis from Acho says, Ameyaw fans are called what? How do you call your fans?
Let's call them cousins for now.
He says, Andy, I beg, ask him this question. Why does he like violence like that?
Oh, after the violence, every now and then, I reply people in that tone just so that it keeps that momentum going. People like to laugh. Sometimes I don't see it like people really want to insult you or bring you down. I think the culture around social media, sometimes people want to say mean things about you just for people to laugh. And so I tolerate that, and sometimes I give my own back in my own kind of dose. And so it just keeps it going.
You clap back?
Sometimes. When I have time. Everyone tell me, you are going through your notifications and something just strikes you. So give it back to this person.
Which one of them hit you, pa?
I can't quite remember, but sometimes it's not so bad, but it's just you feel like let that person have a taste that you are not some meek dog somewhere. You can always do something. And I try to, it's humor most of the time. I don't want to go down and very dirty. Just keep it entertaining.
Yeah, you've always been that meek, very, very calm, laid back. You don't talk much. I mean, I've met you at several events. We meet. Charlie, you vibe small. You don't talk too much. Just, Charlie, Andy, bro, my friend, no be me, then
that's my nature.
So, do you think? Well, you've answered it already, but I'll still ask. That people think that you are so meek, and do you think they think that because of your quietness, you are that weak?
Well, I think so. I think and I've gone through JSS. I've done SS in Ghana, so yes, I do get that from. But I think it's just me. There is strength in that weakness if you also use it well, because it's built my character. And like I'm saying, sometimes you go to VGMAs, and back in the days, my colleagues are in the heat enjoying, and then something will happen that I would see it because I am more calm. I'm watching and observing. So, yes, you just have to find how to pick your strength within those sort of natural nature that you have. And I think I pull those things together, and it to my benefit.
Sometimes I meet you at events, and I feel like the way you are even seated shows you don't want to be here, but it's because of the job.
Everywhere I saw it.
Because sometimes I think I want to this guy, like you bore way did it.
But now, sometimes I'm a very punctual person. What can I say? 8, I'm there. So sometimes in Ghana, you realize that people don't take time. They don't respect time, and you're already there. And on top of it, the show is dragging, and it brings me there. And perhaps you can see when you are looking at observing, but that's me. So, but now because the team is there, a lot of the things I push it to them. Apart from the one that because of relationships or something else requires me to be there physically, and yes, I remember. Team no Marco.
But in this case, do you come back to share your opinion or remarks about these events? And if yes, do you tell it as it is, or you try to sugarcoat it?
Well, I mean, in the beginning, I would, and even now I don't even have to say so much. I can just express myself in a tweet as though I've been here, and it's as simple as it is. You've shared that experience and it's there. But before Daybreak Hitz, I'll write a full article to address that. And you realize that to cancel and then you give up. So now with social media and all those things, sometimes quickly, I just do a status update and it covers it.
I see. Let's go back to the Papi Kojo thing. Just as you mentioned, family friend, but at a point in time, you guys were throwing shots at each other on social media.
I think it's also because Papi is like that. Or he's crazy. He says anything as and when he wants to.
Has he always been like that?
Yeah, since I've known him, he's always been like that. And he's a funny person. He likes to create humor for his followers.
You know, each time I saw him, he was very quiet. Even the times he was with Joey. I mean, Joey is the bubbly type. You see me, oh, big bro, like this. And the guy is standing quietly in his corner. He doesn't talk.
Yeah, I think the beginning is also because... But, I mean, people who followed... He was a personality on especially Twitter even before he blew up. And so most of the people who were following him on Twitter sort of already knew that side of him. He's creating jokes. He was speaking on everything that was trending, and so that is him naturally.
But what necessitated those tweets?
Sometimes I don't even remember. and the thing with Papi is, I think he's a person who uses clouds the most. It is sometimes some picture be owning a chair, and he has it, and then he would drop it. I'm like, picture you go for free, and he has it in his cloud. I mean, he's that kind of person. He's just crazy.
I see. More comments. God knows Anyagba says, Andy, this man is the biggest blogging blogger I met on the media space, but I'm still waiting for my uncle to put some coins in my account. Also, you've got cousins, nieces, and nephews. Sweet girl Priscilla says you should keep it up. Ashinyo Kujo Wisdom says, good morning, Mr. Andy. These bloggers employ more people in Ghana, and that alone is enough impact. God bless all Ghanaian bloggers. Weezy from Su to Mamanjo. Brian Nanakwesi says, I think he's a cool guy. Excuse me. I met him once at a fashion show with Enyanam. Like this personality. Andy, please, can you ask him if he can help my brand Berry Smoochies get some publicity? Thank you. Well, you just had one.
You got in the publicity already.
Prince Joseph said, Andy, please, I need his contact seriously for my job. I have a job for him. I'm in a freight forwarding company. I need him. So how do they contact you on social media?
On social media, my email and sometimes my phone number is available.
Same phone number?
Yes.
Wow.
So now, initially, my main one was public, so I've changed it to the second one is now the one I put publicly.
Oh, I see.
No, I think for the benefit of the person calling, just
the
email address.
The email address, you can use Ameyaw@ameyawdebrah.com. So my first name at my full name.com.
Interesting. Fimbo Papado says, from Ashia, he's really a good blogger and I really look out to him. In Shamba, Andy says, good morning, Mr. Andy. Kudos to you for the good work. Please ask Ameyaw if Shatawale stepped on his toe because he was #1 critic of him, always writing negative stories on Kwan. Why? What triggered that feud between him and Shatta? Did you guys have any?
Let me use this opportunity. Hopefully, this will be the last time we clarify this thing. So I don't remember doing so much negative criticism of Shatta. I don't think so. And in fact, I remember the time that the VGMA thing happened, the chaos that now gave that rebirth. I had not seen him in a very long time. And that time I was doing my own photography and everything. So when I saw him, I was really happy. I took pictures and everything was on my phone, on my camera. I have never been in the position to say, let me bring him down. But I think in the beginning there was a lot of back and forth between him, Samini, and so there was that. Everything was like, we are fighting. I don't think I paid so much attention to that. So there was one time, there was an article Ghana Web did about an event that took place. I wasn't there. So I just recarried that topic. And then he calls me and says that he's noticed I don't like him. I'm on the side of Samini. I'm like, really? That's never. I don't wake up and think I'm going to take sides because, trust me, that's not... That's thing I think about. So we spoke back and forth, and then basically that conversation ends like, if you value your life, don't write about me.
Wow.
So I blacklisted him for almost 7 years. Not even mentioning his name anywhere, unless it's a promotion, an event, and I've been paid and he's performing, so you have to put it. So that was the relationship. It wasn't like you are intentionally. No, it was never. And if one of the biggest artists, you can choose not to write for him for 7 good years, and you still thrive, then it shows you I don't really care about that. That's not what makes me grow as a business. And so when I hear people say that, I think sometimes people listen to different bits of conversations and they form that in their minds. But personally, I've never been in a position to want to bring someone down and not shatter.
You mentioned that the final submission was, if you value your life, don't write anything about me. Mm-hmm. Were you scared?
Not really.
Did you report anything of the sort?
I didn't. But
you didn't feel threatened?
I didn't, because I think he had the request that don't write about me, and that's something I can easily do.
But they put a caveat.
Yeah, so that's why I wasn't writing about him. So if you write, then he would. And I said, no, you don't mean anything to me for me.
What brought you
and the funny thing is that it was around the Christmas. So in every Christmas, then you call me, and few days we traveled together
on the same flight.
To Tamale. I think Mimi's people, they were doing Tamale invasion or something. So few days we at the airport. He's seated somewhere, and that was a test of not writing about him, because I covered that event and he wasn't not even a picture, and and then the fans now start, before this enemy, how can you go to this? And this guy, this is a man of the show, and you haven't even done. I'm like, well, that's what it is. And then it continued. I think the following year, he won Artist of the Year or something. And then Sakode won more awards. So I was like, okay, Sakode wins 4 awards. And that was my hell, and that was my focus. So I ignored him. And anytime we do that, now the fans are now coming and like, Uchino. But then the truth is that it's coming from somewhere, and that's what it is.
They didn't know the backstory.
They didn't know.
Okay, so after 7 years.
Oh, I mean, after now I write about him. I mean, my people.
You still don't fear your life?
No. I think maybe he's understood that I don't have that intention or whatever, because
What changed after 7 years?
For me, I think also it's because there's a new group of people who work at Ameyaw Debrah, and so most of them, I mean, they are conversating with him on Instagram. They are chatting with him.
Some are his fans.
Yeah, so I allowed that to happen.
This guy, you know the fear your life. You know the fear your life. Yeah. And the Sami Dusty says this guy only posts negative news about Wally, which is very bad of him.
Then I also sometimes want them to explain when you say negative news. If your guy does only negative things, the news that is going to come out is going to be negative. But if it's
very interesting.
Yeah, because that's their perception. If it's negative, means it's not promoting him. But if you slap Bulldog, and I write a story that you slap Bulldog, it's that's what it is, the truth. As far as I am not cooking up something to tarnish your image, then there's nothing negative. If your actions are negative, then the news around you should be negative. Slapping Bulldog hasn't done that yet. So that's pretty much what we do. I don't go in to create scenarios that don't exist. And if I express an opinion through a review, I expect also people to accept that that's somebody's opinion. It doesn't come from a bad place.
I see. Prince Joseph Sani, please, I need his contact seriously for my job. Okay. I think I read that one. Brass Solo says, I'm King Solomon watching from Sydney West. Kwame Danso, my greetings to you, Andy and Anake. Mr. Sai says, Ameyaw, realist from day one. What more can I say? Bless you, Ameyaw. Thank you, Papa Dusty, for the birthday wish. DJ Bridash, you're the best.
The Momo will follow. Tell him that you send a Momo.
One of my sons, oh, wow. Miyamone, you are sending me song to listen to your song. Listen to this song and let me know what you think. I mean, how much do you charge when you listen to a song? Or they don't send you songs?
I don't listen to songs to charge just for listening. But I mean, my rates are friendly to music and creative people than to businesses. I've tiered it like that. So if it's a promotion for business, it's a little bit higher than what I would do for people in the arts when it comes to promotion.
Some interesting comments coming in. Tweets. Adriba 7 says, Ameyaw's fans must be called Ameyaw Debrahs. Ebenezer Kovna says, kindly ask him what's with him and Niyama. What really caused him to kind of blacklist Wale? Because, like you said, he's very meek. So what at all pushed him to do that? But it looks like you just tuned in. Adeba says, great interview, Andy. Thank you so much. Violence. Nana Kwesi says, why doesn't he respond to inquiries on Twitter? For example, he put out this new place on Twitter, was preparing for a space like that. So I reached out to have a fair idea of how much expenditure I'm looking at, and he never replied. Even sent him a DM too.
If you send me a DM and I didn't reply, it's probably because I've not seen it. Because, for instance, this project you're talking about, my aim was to promote the architect. And so any queries I saw around that, I was very quick to respond. So, and in a day, I get close to 10,000 mentions. And I cannot really see all of that. And so it's not deliberate, but anytime I see something, and most people would tell you, as for me, I reply. It's based on how I'm able to see it.
Fix Empire says, please ask him what really led him to interview the Nigerian porn star.
What led me to it? I think I was in Nigeria, and I was like, I think I had access to him on Twitter, so I was like, let me interview you. So how did this person remember that interview?
So you interviewed the porn star?
Yes, I think before that I had done some virtually. I at the point I realized that as part of social media, there was that emerging sort of culture where people were selling sex in different formats. So I wanted to get into their story. So the initial one I did, I think it was cross-continent. I interviewed different people doing different things in that space. And so when I got the chance to interview someone in terms of being personal, physically present and doing it in video, I decided to do it because it's also part of the culture and the space we find ourselves. Yeah.
So what did you learn from that interview?
But not so
How
much.
to do it.
Well, one of the funny interviews that the guy says he prays before he does it. and people were like so crossed with that. Yeah.
You know, there's a Ghanaian boy. What's his name? Nasser.
The cartoon.
No, which cartoon?
Okay. I thought Nazir the cartoon.
Sure.
Cartoonist.
Nasser be champion. If he do things, then he pray. If he
he's not Ghanaian. He's American. I've seen him.
If he do this,
I saw him. I think it's content nowadays. They also call themselves content creators. So just like we have all these people now, they don't call themselves sponsors.
Oh, so you know him?
Oh, I mean his videos are viral. It's all over.
Oh, what I'm asking is, you know?
I know him. He's Skin Nasser.
He's Ghanaian Nasser.
Nasser, what's that?
I don't know what I said. So you've been watching him? Wow.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
Don't explain. I'm saying, Ameyaw.
The space we find ourselves. People who are on Twitter, something has come into your timeline, so you see.
Where's Planning My Boy? Come and do violence. Ameyaw has been watching the guy.
Oh yes, I have.
Oh, nice.
Hits FM 103.9.
Shatawale just had content. Ameyaw, you the watch porn. You the watch porn. He wasn't and he just didn't show up. He said,
oh, but I think if you Google me, I think I've said it on a Big Santana show. So it's online that, yes, I watch. I think I qualified. It's not so. Let's be specific. I'm not thrilled by porn so much, but I think the 6 days that normal average person.
See Bulldog, see.
You understand? Yeah,
You,
Bulldog,
you say
Bulldog
that.
understand.
Everybody else here does.
They do, but
I
you do.
Who
Yeah,
who
yeah,
does
yeah.
Me, I don't watch. You don't mean the watch.
Me, I don't understand that.
You don't watch.
I don't watch. I'd rather do it than watch some people do it.
You a star.
It's a star himself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a star.
Do the thing, you know.
If the movie starts, if he tell this guy, I know they like his moves. He knows them. That is actually says Andy. Ameyaw Debrah, your top 5 artists in Ghana. Hey, Charlie.
Top 5. For me now, I'll go for the young ones. So, the Kiddie, the Black Sherif, Kwame Eugene, Kamido, and I still like my Kevin Boy. So the young ones, yeah.
Do musicians approach you for business?
Yes, we do different things.
Like what?
Promotions, and sometimes I also get to plug them into different spaces, and so
What do you think we are lacking? That conversation for me, I feel like, well, we've had it over and over and over, but I keep asking that question because it comes with diverse answers. I mean, everyone has an opinion over it. Till now, we still haven't found that antidote. What do you think, in your opinion, what do you think we are lacking?
Well, I think we should open up more to aggressively find our place on the table. I feel sometimes we get happy with what we have back home, and sometimes all it takes is having a dedicated email address on your profiles, so that when people want you, they can even get you. I think Sako there probably was on your show, even talking about how this Bob Marley thing happened. And if you don't have that channel where people want to collaborate with you and give you all these opportunities to go through, then you are cutting yourself short. And once that channel is there, somebody must be there to monitor and make sure that they are responding. Because trust me, a lot of things have gone into people's DMs and that they haven't seen yet, that are opportunities. So I think people should open themselves up to the global space. And now it's easier because social media is there, people can find you, but it's pointing them to the right and having someone to, I've scheduled myself throughout the day to work in certain hours. I'm clearing my emails as they come in, because that's when these opportunities are coming. Those that conversations are there, have them and see where they will lead you to. And also, I think elsewhere, the Nigerians, they have Nigerians placed in high places, and they are always going to push their people. And I think Ghanaians are a little bit laid back. But now I see that those who have all these connections out there consciously also looking home. So I think it's not too late. Opportunities will come, and when they come, we shouldn't miss out. Sometimes missing out, it takes something as little as your pride, lowering your pride and saying that let's just do this little thing. And that would be the entry point that somebody, bigger things will follow. So I think there isn't one answer to it, like you said, and it's a conversation that must continue. This week, a friend of mine in Holland, he's a music person, and he had done some sort of course with Universal Music, and he's hoping to be able to bring that knowledge and everything back home in Ghana, and then people are more open to listen and grow with him. And I was like, yes, I hope, and I also feel that because of how things are going now, if those conversations are being had, the players in it to be interested, as opposed to 5 years back, there were no real examples of success stories that would let them connect. But now, if somebody comes back and say, let's do ABCD because can do that, they've seen it worked. So they are now more open to that conversation than before.
Nana say, Gideon says, good morning, Andy. Ameyaw talks like Dr. Baumia and even laughs like you.
I'm a cousin.
So, Obia, your cousin. We'll be right back. When we come back, my elders will take the floor. Again, what does it take for one to become a blogger? And for the rookies, I'm sure there's a question that everyone is asking. Is Ameyaw Debrah married? Children? What about his family? If not for blogging, what else would he invest his music, his money in? Could it be music, fashion, football, porn? We'll be right back.
Oh, mon amour, je t'aime beaucoup.
Time to wait for nobody with the far corner, what to idea to the waste time. Everybody getting your own blessing. I teach man also will be also, so why you the hate man? By the time I'm with this, better when I be do, I'm on a name, my Timberland, they won't be baseline. The person me you will hint me chinko, so ya home, I go to in the daytime. If it's someone drama where the love, it's an I'm friend, I know they call back. I find out who's a fame, they be all there. We won't change back, everybody go fall back. So when the good time comes and the money pile up for the countryside, if you don't want to go see the people, we stuck for the ride inside. I go to in the daytime. If it's someone drama where the love,
Man, kiss off, man.
Time to wait for nobody with the far corner, what to idea to the waste time. Everybody getting your own blessing. I teach man also will be also, so why you the hate man? By the time I'm with this, better when I be do, I'm on a name, my Timberland, they won't be baseline. The person me you will hint me chinko, so ya home, I go to in the daytime. If it's someone drama where the love, it's an I'm a friend, I know they call back. I find out who's a fame, they be all there. We won't change back, everybody go fall back. So when the good time comes and the money pile up for the countryside, if you don't want to go see the people, we stuck for the ride inside. I go to in the daytime. If it's someone drama where the love,
Man, kiss off, man.
Time to wait for nobody with the far corner, what to idea to the waste time.
Say man, I'm out with the end, 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 say man, black woman, you look so cute. That is why Rasta me never deny you. Black woman, you look so cute. That is why we never deny you. We never deny you. Tie, I say, I won't offend me, see me yampo. When you go see me, to me, yampo. I won't offend no jaro. Emperor Selassie, I know. Me to me, nampo. Feminine, na me view be here. Female, na me view be here. When you are my chance, we are. Say me, na me say. When you are my, when you are my, when you are my. Your eyeball, they kill me. So they try me, penamigo. Sube kumyo, I won't fail. When you are my, when you are my, when you are my. Your eyeball, they kill me. Anywhere you hagla you are. Ah, I'm saying, it's me nampo, it's me jampo, it's me kanko, say me. I'm say, oh hima, wahu ofeno it's me nampo. When you go see it's me jampo. Oh ofeno ejaro, Emperor Selassie I know, it's me nampo. Emeni na me jo biye, Fimano na me view biye. When you are my chance, we are. Say me kwaje, when you are my, when you are my, when you are my. Your eyeball, they kill me. Would you hear me, penami? Oh, da da.
Yo!
Say me, kwaje, I'm out with the end, 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 say me, black woman, you look so cute. That is why Rasta me never deny you. Say me, Black woman, you look so cute.
9 FM, it's Daybreak Hitz. It's now time showbiz review. And my special guest in the studio, Ameyaw Debrah, is my special guest. And that's music of Yaw Darling. And music premieres on Hits 103.9 FM. Video premieres on Joy Prime tomorrow. And so you get to watch it first. And yeah, new guy, Yaw Darling. All right, Ameyaw. So it's going to be one of them, huh? You said you like the new school.
The new school, yeah.
As if you don't listen to the old ones at all.
No, I still do. But also, I now listen to music less.
Really?
Yeah, I think maybe when I'm in the car, or maybe if something is out and then I'm publishing it, then I get to see it. Unlike before, I was more in places that made me listen to music, and on my own I was listening to music. But now a lot of the time is work, and yeah, it takes a lot of that away.
Robert?
Yeah, I'm always happy when I see Ameyaw. I mean, the internet story moved from Web 1.0 to Web 2.0, and Web 2.0 basically came with a lot of opportunities. Unfortunately, not many people down here have been able to, take advantage. Have been able to take advantage of this.
Web 3 now,
I know, but we've not yet experienced most of it. Even there's elements of, people are still trying to understand the Web 2.0. Yeah, so. And so when I see people like the likes of Ameyaw, I'm extremely happy, because then the opportunities that are associated with these platforms, that any young person out there who is willing and daring to apply some elements of business skills can make good out of his, it's like a point of reference. And therefore it's, you can always make that reference and then help people, or point him to people, and then, obviously they can take cues from what he's done. But I think listening to him, there are quite a number of things that I noted. The first one is your advice that you just shared about establishing an email, and so that people can reach out to you. Somebody just said they tried to reach out to you and they couldn't.
No, that's because
you have over 10,000 mentions.
That person probably was sending you to my DM, and if I don't even follow you, it's going to be locked somewhere that I will not see it immediately. So the better option is email,
which is there as well.
Yeah, everything is the email, phone, all of those ones are there. Okay. I mean, in the early part of the conversation, I talked about how I make it very easy for people to get to me, but some people don't get it. They want to DM you, but that one has its own limitations. I remember, I think T-Pain recently came and was like, he didn't even know there was, when you go to DM, there's a place where all the other conversations go to, and technically the platforms will make you miss out on that. But the emails, if you are checking them regularly, I check my emails, and after the main inbox, I go to spam, just in case something has gone there that has slipped my attention. That's because I know that's where all these requests are going to come from. So
somebody missed a deal from Beyonce's team, one of the dancers.
Yeah, I think
Incredible Ziggy.
Ziggy, yeah.
Because he just couldn't see it.
Exactly.
Yeah, when he saw it was late, the project was over. So it's because you were talking about all the opportunities associated with all of these, DMs and stuff like that. So I'm actually thinking maybe you might want to give one of your persons like the task to just check DMs every day, because you might never really know.
So for the Ameyaw TV platforms, I always tell them check all of them. But for the other ones, I do it. I try to do it. I try to do it. Yeah, it's not easy.
Can I go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So, in line with the conversation, what did you meet, and how has it changed over the years? Because I remember I used to watch you on Jocelyn Dumas show, reporting stuff, from entertainment programs you had gone to and stuff like that, all of that, those days. And then it's different from now. So what did you meet? How has it changed? And if possible, you can tell us what you think should be that isn't, so that, that becomes the area of focus. And then, and I have another question for you in terms of your contemporaries like the Bella Nigers and stuff like that. How do we stand, and what is making them shine? How do we also get to that point where we have this heavy international recognition, or any follow people who are supposed to follow ups and stuff like that?
In terms of what I met, I think what I met was the early stage, and so a lot of things that now exist were starting from that point, and I was there from that entry point, and so I had to see it grow to where it is now. And what I find now is there's a lot more opportunities that perhaps existed in other territories before and not in our space. Now they are also coming. I think I said in the interview, realistically, the opportunity to make money was not even there, because again, even the businesses were not looking in the digital space. They were looking at traditional media, but now most of them are looking to engage with the digital space and all the players there. When I started to, pretty much I was a loner. I didn't have so many people doing it, but now there are a lot more people doing it, and the spaces are changing. What you see as content, now people just open their arms and it's content. People are engaging with that and laughing, and so the concept of what even content is has changed. And what I like now is at least everybody in that space can be identified with something, and it's a good thing. In terms of what I would like to change, I think there's a lot of rubbish content, but then it's not so much because the people producing it like rubbish, but also because the audience like rubbish. And so the affinity for that, and I think it's not just Ghana, it's even the platforms, what they are pushing as content that they want everybody to see is not always sensible content. It's usually quick fun, and in our region sometimes plain rubbish. And I would hope that there's less of that, and perhaps I've seen videos of how people make comments about taking China, for instance, and how the kind of algorithms that people within how they push content and the kind of content they are seeing versus what the rest of us are seeing. I think there's too much of that in the space that we all are and operate in. Perhaps lesser of it would be better in terms of...
What would you call... Can you give a description of a typical rubbish content? Because you said rubbish, I just want to be sure.
Things that don't have any value, and beyond that, it reduces the total makeup of the people consuming it. If you do content such a way and it starts having, I mean, we've had content where people are doing challenges and dying. That is not what you want.
Okay.
You want something that uplifts the people because you want to entertain, educate, inform. These are the basic things that I think content should do. But if it now brings them back and doesn't impact and rather is having a negative effect on them, then it's quite rubbish.
Okay, so this is to my more or less my last part. So, so what are we doing now? Do we use the word blogging, and for me, it doesn't really mean what I see, because what it means is not really what is happening. So, I see what you are doing, and I'm asking myself, how different is it from, let's say, Ameyaw Online? Because I see similarities.
Yeah.
I see what some people are doing, and I see it's equal to what Hitz FM on IG is doing. I see similarities, but nobody will call the Hitz FM platform blog.
Yeah.
And then I see you having your editorials, which is more of what blogging should be, and you can call that blogging.
Yeah.
And then I see when it comes to content creation on social media and stuff like that, people also say I'm a content creator, so that's also there. And then you now have people who basically will go like new media, and so I'm using the new media, to advance whatever I need to advance. So in that particular sense, that you want to apply all the principles and the rules of what media is, what it shouldn't be, the ethics that goes along with it, etc., etc. So really, you've been there for a long time, so you have more or less like you have the history. and you are one of the longest running in this particular. What would you say in terms for educational purposes and for information purposes? What would you say should be the definitions and how to tag people and what that?
Yeah,
what's the way to go?
I think you put it right. There are clear distinctions, but also sometimes they are so intertwined and interlaid that it becomes difficult to draw those distinctions. So, for instance, even major platforms like My Joy Online, they can have blogs on them depending on how it's presented and all of that. I also, on my platforms, we combine all of those elements. So sometimes you have news, which is easy to do because it's events, and so you're just pretty much reporting on the event. And sometimes I'm putting myself in telling stories, in telling experiences, and all of that. So yes, there's clear distinctions, but also they sometimes become quite blurred out because they are so close together, especially when you're using platforms that exist to do these things. And so the platforms themselves sort of bring them together, no matter how distinct what you're doing is. Now, people call, so far as somebody is posting something on Instagram or something, they call them blogging, but it's not so much the case like you said. I don't want to be the one to define it, but yeah, there are specific things, and like you said, that it's not always so personal, but the way you present it, it doesn't have to be in a personal voice, but even the way you lay it out, how you produce the content, sometimes move it to one direction more than the other. So it's good that new media is allowing all of these facets to operate, and people should find which part of it that they can do and do well, so that they are part of that ecosystem. And I think by and large, our ecosystem, we've seen different people. Now you see someone like Black Volta starting out when it comes to nightlife. We have people who have been doing food for a while. We are seeing all of those people niche sort of content creation, blogging, if you want to call it, emerge. It all adds up to the ecosystem.
Yeah, so if for example,
That was your last
mm,
one.
I just
Come
realized
on,
one
Martinez,
last-
and Dingo,
so if for example people are like
Martinez, man.
they are students, right? They are finishing school and they know there's no job, then what it means is that if I should take what you do, it means the opportunities are available for people with respect to job, even if they don't have that, they want to experiment on their own to be able to build something for themselves. It means if you went to NAFTI, there's an opportunity for you in that particular space.
Exactly.
If you're a journalist, there's an opportunity for you in that particular space. If you want to be on television, do presentations, presenting whatsoever, there's opportunity there. If you're a creative ideas and you have content whatsoever, if you're a script writer, if you're a screen everything, all of those. So it means that that particular world can employ or has a lot of opportunities for people in these fields, and then they can venture into it. Thank you.
Okay, Martinez, come in before boy. I saw the name.
Yeah. Kitwevi.
That's what he said.
A lot of education this morning. I'm really enjoying the conversation. I wish it could go on and on and on and on. Blogging has gained some relevance lately. I mean, these days people appreciate it, and I think you are a huge factor from the days you started. I mean, throwing more light on it.
Why you even want to call me a blogger?
Because most of them
Exactly.
most of them refer you as, the blogger they all look up to.
It's a news house.
Most of them. So for me, I think that's a great impact that you've made in the industry. Back then, you made entertainment so nice. I mean, you log on to ameyawdebrah.com and you read more about celebrity lifestyle. And I think we didn't know where you wanted to be or how you envisage the future of the industry. But now we understand. And for me, I think...
Go ahead. make your-
Oba.
Thank you.
So I just like to commend you on that. That's a great effort. It's like you become a standard. Anytime you're talking about blogging, I mean, a go-to guy, a lot of people refer, check AmeyawDebrah.com, check Ameyaw Debrah, how he does his stuff. I mean, the standard. That alone, I think, is a great achievement. My only call is that I'm sure you're very passionate about the industry. Very, very passionate. Now, we feel we need to do more. Not that we feel like there's a need for us to do more, because it looks like the conversation or the narrative have changed about some of the things we can do to put our industry up like others are doing. And we cannot do that without the influence or impact of great people like you in the space. I mean, your experience, your expertise, and all of that. So I just want to put that on the table to you, that you guys should come on board. The kind of stuff we read online, the kind of stuff that can push government to invest heavily, the conversation that can bring government on board to invest heavily in the industry. That is what I'm much concerned. And most often it goes like, some of the stuffs we read online, you don't do sensational stories. You are not into that. But then you've been able to build a very strong image for yourself, which I believe that the respect you have, if you're able to go all out and speak authoritatively on behalf of the industry, I mean, the future, it will help. Because now we feel Nigerians have taken over. Look at this country, our industry can do what is good. I want you guys to come on board. It shouldn't be like, dear. So we will just lay back and leave it to the young ones. So come on board and Sister Afine Jumano Kra, I guess. So big ups to you.
Thank you very much.
And Bulldog is out. Ria, please go ahead.
Hi. So for me, he's like the OG of all OG bloggers. We all grew up on AmeyawDebrah.com. Like, that's where all the tea was. But although you are not, you find your way into the mess, but still have a way of making it like, but I'm your big brother. We'll meet and have drinks later. So don't take it so personal. It's never that personal, especially when it is you. And I like the fact that at the end of the day, when people are looking for like, I don't know how to say, not fake news, like the real deal, real news, it's rather I go to Ameyaw than look at the other blogs who are more of what Martinez says, sensationalism. Oh, this is happening. It might be true. It might not be true. Like yours is. I feel some way that I'm praising you so much, and all the other bloggers came and I was on their neck.
Crashing. Are you not crashing on? Didn't you say you like all guys like Ameyaw? I think I've read it before.
Since when?
Swear. By holding one.
No, but seriously, like what you do is like nobody can do what you do, and it is awesome to like get to meet you one-on-one, to be able to like pick your brain and see how you are able to maneuver the industry. And I think you are one of the first people I saw, like one of the first bloggers I saw do international work. I think you were on one of these islands like years back promoting tourism, and when you go through your Instagram, it is all about tourism, how things are certain moves are going to help the tourism of Ghana. So yeah, kudos to you.
Thank you.
Boo.
I'm out there. Nothing I go talk.
You said nothing you go talk, and he said
from Daybreak.
Ameyaw has been here like.
Don't say a minute.
From the inception. Him and Nia Takra. These two, you cannot write this internet history news, without mentioning these two. That Bible won't be complete, and the energy has never dropped. For me, it's amazing. There isn't a time I reach out to Ameyaw and he will not, do what we are asking, to be done. You call him and he doesn't pick, or he's not around the phone. He calls you back. Charlie, the ethics is, he's good people. So we need to celebrate people like yourself. And by celebrating you, we need to pray for you, to still have that
energy. Oh.
Exactly. and not to, because the space could be frustrating sometimes. And you might just want to close shop and find elsewhere and go. But if you're still here and doing this, it means you're not here for the kwacha. You're here for the betterment of, and I think one of my panel members was asking, or I think it was you, asking how we're going to gain grounds out there and all that. And I like what you said. I mean, it's timing and making sure that we drop some egos to allow some things to come to us. I think it was spot on. There are few that are taking advantage of that very advice that you gave, and Charlie, more sperm in your dick.
Hey,
I was going to say more grease in your elbows, but I thought it's been overused. Yeah, it's been overused.
It's a modern expression.
Exactly. So more sperm in your. I'm saying.
No, in your sack.
Okay, in your
Sack.
hotel sack.
What's okay, Andy?
Oh, it's own needy.
You see, it's thank you very much. Hey,
More sperm in your
hey, shut up there.
In your sack.
So it's very unfortunate that a grown-up folk like Bulldog, like a father
We apologize.
Papa.
who has 3 or 4 beautiful children
Who came out
that
of
I
school.
admire, looking up to somebody like this, and use such words on radio.
Do you know
Hey, shut up!
every
there.
male above 40,
Hey,
health-wise,
well, now, are you going to apologize for using that
I'm
word?
saying
Please,
above
please,
40. Ameyaw is not below 40.
But are you talking to Ameyaw alone, the listeners?
To all the listeners,
Thank you.
it is important
That you
that
apologize.
after 40, your sex game becomes very, very
does that got to do
rampant.
with-
Charlie, meka kolebu na to na me sha keke na.
Oh no.
He just
You see, Mr. Aga said what I'm saying is true. I'm a ton of keke. Now discharge am anyako ashakeje 1930.
Well,
I'm
Kaja
saying-
Bester.
Charlie, I'm sorry, wait.
Nagaye.
If Bulldog doesn't keep quiet, what happened in 1975 will happen today?
We all go home. We all go home.
No,
In
but
75.
on a more serious note, what you said, it's either you apologize.
What did I say?
And also you crashing.
Yes, I like that. But what's wrong with being a Krasini?
Debbie.
No, what's wrong with being a
There's
Krasini?
nothing wrong. Okay, today.
It's
the sake
all to modern into your Krasini sa. I talk by Menasha, living na Jamaica, Amenyaku.
Come on for the affair.
Onuga.
Who Make you no mind. Papi, well, Papi 55. Papi says, Mr. Ameyaw Debrah, my guy be that too. He's been interviewed us since 2006. Calm and gentle. He likes big ass. Wow. He says you like.
Don't mind him.
Wow. I couldn't continue.
You like Gagantua because it be papi. Let's use the right terminology. Gagantua.
He says you like it, babe.
Gagantua.
Is that so? Are you in the brotherhood?
Don't mind him. That's all I can say.
Jeffrey Naughty. So you are in the
Brotherhood,
fraternity, yeah.
So you are there too, huh?
Nah? Don't talk to me until you apologize.
Are you there?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Don't talk to me.
But you think
Hey, don't talk to me like.
you think it is
Hey,
good?
hey. Why?
So apologize for liking that.
It is good. So it can be apologized. But in your case, it is wrong.
What did I say?
What you said.
What did I say? Repeat what
More
I said.
space
In your space.
in the envelope. That's wrong.
He said it to Ameyaw.
Yeah.
He has no problem with it. So
Well, I do. I do.
So,
I do. So I mean, what does it take for one to become a blogger, especially with the rookies?
for me, I think it's first believing you have something you want to put out there and finding you, because that's where that sense comes from. That ability define yourself in whatever content you are putting out there, whatever format it may be, it's important. You must have that voice and want to establish what it is with your interest. I would say you shouldn't want to go into blogging because you've seen somebody do it and it's successful and you just are thrilled by what you're seeing. You must go in because you have something to offer. And once you've started, you should know it's not going to happen overnight. It takes time. It takes time to even find yourself sometimes, because sometimes what you want to do, you realize that there is no real audience for it. So you start, you readjust, but it doesn't happen overnight. So be patient to grow your audience, to grow your content, and watch it grow. Because once you build communities, it's with these communities that you determine how now you move to the next stage and the next stage. So take community serious, your audience, feedback, and all of that. That's, in a nutshell, the kind of advice I can give.
Andy.
All right, let me read some. There's some funny.
Andy, real quick.
Let me just. I realized that impatient people die early. You know, because they're in a hurry to finish whatever it is.
They just can't take. They are not. They are not tolerant.
Yeah. Like Jesus Christ in the church place. You know, the guy just entered the church and everybody was doing that. He should have just been calm.
Calm.
Yes. Talk to the people. Yeah. The guy start beat. You see,
maybe he's done that and
it wasn't documented.
So was
speaking what was documented.
So was that why he died early?
Yes.
Somebody they kill him. Somebody.
So how is this connected to new media conversation?
He talk about patience. So I'm just saying, the people where they be impatient, they go die quick. So if you're out there and you're impatient,
and you
if you die quick and you fulfill your reason for being here, what's there? What's
you have a point. You have a point. Like Tupac.
30 seconds.
Tupac died. Yeah, Tupac died 25. He lived like 75. It's true. I didn't think about that aspect of the conversation.
Man is still alive.
Then the Sanchez says, Ameyaw Debrah is my. Let me read some tweets. It's Ameyaw is my favorite among all the bloggers in Ghana. He's free, and when he tag him in a post, he will come and comment under it. That's one thing I like about him. May God bless you, cousin. This is your cousin. Kennedy Kendall of course says, good morning, champ. I think Ameyaw is simply a legend, and the ladies too, they feel him. Wow. Shadrach Sefer 4 says, and the online promoters also deserve recognition. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Olati says, on another note, please ask Ameyaw about his view on the Aldabo's comment on lazy people watching 1 hour movie, because so far none of the big bloggers have said anything about it. Brando 4 says, Andy, tell Ameyaw his IG page has become too much of himself. That is his IG page. Mm-hmm. And his office people eating kenke and catfish and banku and tilapia and jollof. I know he's probably advertising, but it gets annoying over time. We don't go to his page to see him eat. But he hungry catch you.
I mean, what he's saying is, at a point, I took that conscious effort that my Instagram is not going to be like that. So it's not like you won't find the content you want elsewhere. Because if you're on Twitter, you see the link from the website, so you know what's going on in terms of if that's what you want. But my Instagram, I think 4 years ago, I decided to keep it like that. And those who want the blogging thing, they can at least follow Ameyaw TV, where they can get a bit of that. But for my Instagram, it's more that curated experience of me and what I go through.
Deka 101 says, please ask him what he thinks about Bongo ideas. Well,
Andy, I'm a bit interested in something.
Is he a blogger?
Well, I think he's worked with some blog platforms in the past. And so, yeah. He started vlogging on YouTube also. He has a website again that he puts his thoughts together. So
wow.
Okay. I think altogether.
I have to visit it.
Yeah, I think people know him for his tweets and controversial stuff.
I think it would be nice for you to share the services you offer. More like what is possible from your media house?
Cool.
You know, because somebody's saying you did an interview.
Mm-hmm,
Okay. Somebody's also saying, I've seen you doing polls on Twitter. Like, what is it exactly that's possible when you get to your media house?
Yeah. So I think it's a lot. I mean, for everybody else who is also aspiring, I think it's important to diversify and find different streams of income, even doing the same thing. So currently, I'm there doing influencing things, and so brands, products come, and then we offer that service of promoting and letting people come to that, and that fetches you money. We also have the Ameyaw TV space where we produce videos. So videos for ourselves, videos for people. Also, if you want us to create some digital content for you, we will do that. We have the website where we do normal content. We also have sponsored content on the platform also. So we are looking at it from a 360 point of view. In this same new media space, we are seeing what we can do and not miss out on these opportunities. So we have video production, we have sometimes do social media management for people, marketing for people. So us and when we look in different directions, and I think everybody else can do that also.
So there's a random question. I don't know whether it's for me or for Ameyaw. Says, okay, nowadays speaking. So what can't you stand from a fan, or what will a fan do to irritate or put you off?
If it's too high.
Oh,
Fan.
So I think I have a very high level of tolerance, and so there's not so much I can't take. At worst, I'll just ignore you. But what I cannot stand is ignorance. You know, somebody standing on something and poking and thinking it's true. So I get upset and I want to correct the person and say, this is not it. And sometimes you don't have enough characters on Twitter to explain for the person to really understand. But those things get to me when somebody has a wrong perception and is pushing it like it's the truth. That really gets to me. Isha.
Love Jesus, good morning. Okay, on Facebook, Mr. Andy, I saw someone who looked like Bulldog yesterday at Accra Newtown, and I tried approaching him, but he never gave me attention. So I just want to ask if he's the one, because I love him so much.
What time of the day?
Were you at Newtown?
Yeah, I want to buy rice in the evening. Because in the morning I was at court, so if it's during the day I was.
You went to court yesterday?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
What again?
I'm in court with our brother, so.
Your case.
This guy has brothers. Like everyone is calling you my brother, my brother.
This guy has got cousins.
Yeah, and you got cousins.
So you are caught in a new relationship.
Yes. So what time of the day?
Number 11, baby man.
Oh, there we are number 11. So you should specify.
All right.
Yeah.
Richie says, Sandy, please ask him what he thinks about Bongo. Okay, I think he's read it. I've read it. Pascal Sakode, why is we always sitting at Ria sitting at the back of the camera?
She likes to come late.
Kwakumingo says, Brandy, would might also be nice guest on your show? Koja Sempa Furniture Works says, good morning once again to your listeners. Okay. Sambonza says, Andy, please, Ameyaw's view on the National Cathedral. Hey, Ameyaw, wow.
Mom, they may say, any bad idea. If it happens, it's good. I think there'll be some benefits from it in the long term. Because I remember, I think Conference Center, we had issues with it. But imagine if that thing was not there, the events you do, and all of that, what would have happened? So I think, the plan they have, it to serve a purpose. But as to whether it's now, that's an issue. But when it happens, I'm all for it.
Do you get approached by politicians?
Well, especially during election times, I think, and I'm open to it, but I'm open to do a service of promotion. I'm not open to put my face and campaign.
So if you say you're open to it, if a political party approaches you and say, post the party's flag.
Mm-hmm.
For example, the blue, white, blue, or the red, violet, green, and all the other colors. Then, what? So, will you be tempted to post?
Well, yeah. If it's like a promotional, yes, I'll do it. But I did campaigns for the elections time.
Which party?
Actually, both, but more for the MPP. So when they started doing it, I started now getting NDC ones. They were like, "Oh, because we are bashing you, are posting adverts."
So people were bashing you.
Oh, they were bashing me, and I think it's still lingering on. People don't understand. I mean, there are people who went out to campaign for people, and that's not what I'm going to do. I must truly believe in you.
But what if those persons were also contracted, just as you've been contracted?
Yeah, that's I'm saying. I will not be content to campaign for someone.
But what you were doing was campaigning.
No, I'm advertising for you, so I'm posting. But to use myself and my voice and say, do a video and draw somebody, that won't happen for me. My
person is different from the company.
Yeah. So
but Bo, don't you get my point?
I don't understand your point.
Because look, if Ameyaw Debrah, okay, so on the Dusty's page, then I post. Let's say
like
PPP.
you posted.
No, I never posted anything.
You didn't post MPP. I saw you in MPP adverts and all that. Mr. Hagler, if you can put that on Facebook for us to see.
So I post, let's say PPP.
Right.
Right. And I've been paid to do so. Obviously, I'll be tagged as PPP.
Exactly, like you were paid in the MPP case.
No, I'm paying. Who was paid?
Andy, I think you're
use yourself as an example.
I think Ameyaw Debrah is an institution. It's not when he posts something is
but even though
the name is that's because people don't get it. You understand? But he's an institution. So for him, he will do promotional works for you. Consider Ameyaw Debrah as a media house. It will do promotion. The fact that you are promoting a particular brand doesn't mean that that is what the owners of the organization stand for. But when you do personal endorsements, then say, okay, this one you're actually promoting this because you believe in their values and what they stand for and everything about it. So I think that's what it's trying to establish.
But Ameyaw, did you vote?
Sorry. I didn't even register to vote.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, around that time there was COVID. So I was like, I don't find enough reason to go through the COVID.
So you've never voted?
No, I've been voting. It's just this time. They changed the voters ID card. And it was during the period of the COVID before the election.
Who did you vote for the last time?
The last time I voted for Nana.
Would you have voted for Nana again?
Probably.
Do you think do you like what is happening now?
Well, I like some and I don't like some. I particularly like, obviously, what has happened in the space of entertainment in terms of tourism and
December in Ghana.
That thing is something that a legacy that he's left, and we should probably build on whoever comes. Definitely. But obviously, there are situations. Some not by. I mean, I came from Senegal last week, and every country is complaining about the same things we are complaining. So it gives me the impression it's not just a Ghana thing, but. There are real issues and things are coming up. Even look at the Auditor's General report and all of that. And those are things you don't want to see. So those ones are obviously bad, but there's some positive in terms of, like I've chosen to highlight, the year of return and everything that has come up from that. It's a very good
Looking at what is happening, would you vote for them again, please?
Vote for who?
The MPP.
I don't vote as an MPP. I vote per the person. So my voting
on the billboard.
My voting is going to be based on the people who come out. I mean, yesterday I think I made a post. There's just the fact that Kennedy Japan is from Adisado and Alan Chamartin is from Adisado.
Oh, really? Both of them?
Both of them. I'm now seeing that brotherhood thing there. So it also would depend on who comes up and I also I've liked Mahama, especially from his parliamentary and Minister of State. His personality is nice and all of that, but I've not voted for him yet.
Why?
Because I think I wanted to see Nana. I felt Nana was older. Nana should have come earlier, so that when he's done and he's gone, but Mahama is still young. He could have now also come. Those are the things I look at for. It's not so entrenched. MPP. So this is what it is. Because at the end of the day, yeah.
Well, I get it. Before we went for the break, I was asking several questions. So, if not for blogging, what would you be doing?
That's an interesting question. Because I thought I was going to be a doctor. I decided I did general science, and then I switched to art, and then did this.
You'd have been a great doctor.
I know, right?
Yeah, looking at you.
Like, I would have found a way to let him release. So, yes. It's a difficult question because I'm somebody, I live in the moment. When opportunity comes, I grab it. And so it's difficult to look back and say what probably I would have been doing. I also fancied music. Oh no, my voice is terrible.
You wanted to sing?
I just wanted to do something entertainment. I remember when I was going to Odisado, when I hear dormitories, I thought it was like cubicles. So at that time, back in the days, Mnet, they bring those books, the program. Yeah. So I'll cut people, and I created a collage. I was going to put it in my dormitory, and then I go and say, "Why are you going to put this?" I've always liked entertainment, so I wanted to do something in that space. So when this opportunity came, I just grabbed it and said, "Charlie, let's make something of it." So I'm happy it's going this way. If it wasn't, I don't know, I would have found another opportunity.
Okay, so now that you're still in, if you are to invest in anything, what would that be?
Well, I've started investing in the space I found, so that's why we...
No, something out of your space.
Out of the space. Maybe in a talent, a music talent, especially now looking at how music is doing. If I have the energy, I would look in that space.
So you'll be interested. I'm sure if I give you my artist, you can help push.
No, once he's yours, he's sorted already.
Just help me do it.
All right.
Help me do it.
I'll do it for you.
Bulldog, you have a message from Chairman. Chairman says, big ups to my brother Bulldog. Tell him I said he should pull up one of these days.
Definitely. Chairman, we will come. Unfinished business.
Chairman said, I'll bring you. Since Ameyaw is here, well, Emirates has just sent in a message. And they say, Chalaba, you always on Emirates. This guy, he be top guy. I'll try Emirates. I've never flown on an Emirates plane. Never been on their flights.
Really cool flight.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing.
Yeah, try.
Wow. If you're planning your next adventure, remember it's not just the destination, but it's how you get there. One of the best bits about holidays is the food, right? So wouldn't it be great if you could get a taste of your destination before you even arrive? On Emirates, you can dine on gourmet meals inspired by regional cuisine. And what better way to toast the start of your holiday than with your choice of free-flowing drinks? And of course, you can expect world-class service along every step of your journey from Emirates' award-winning cabin crew. So wherever you decide to fly better on Emirates. You get so much more in Emirates economy. Find out more at emirates.com. I really want to be on their plane. I hear the BY. Sorry?
This is your campaign. They are pretty respond to you quickly.
Yeah. I said it yesterday. They are your guys.
Have faith. Say it consistently for 21 days. Things will change. Somebody say change.
Change, amen. Mm-hmm. Are you fasting for us?
Fast.
Yeah.
First of all, apply the faith.
So that means you are slowing.
And okay, we are about leaving. Ameyaw Debrah has been my guest, Charlie. It's been a very interesting conversation. Do you do football?
Not so much now.
Swimming.
Now I'm a waste pipe, like we say in a disco. I think in terms of work activities, I do more running.
Did I see you doing some press up?
Yeah.
Charlie, at one time I see Ameyaw the new presser. Come see by my chest. I see that just I'm like Ameyaw, no bebo.
Never.
Hope no day.
Is that how you keep fit?
Yeah, so running consistently, at least to build some endurance, I'm pushing that more than I've given up on bulking up or gaining muscle. I think
but press up is very good. It's good for the heart.
the heart too.
Yeah. So it's cardio, serious cardio.
So I'm doing the running, which I think is good for the heart, which is very important.
It helps your blood pressure to drop. Press ups. Yeah, it's good. Really, really good.
So all these messages about you and girls wine, all the da. When your wife sees or hear them, what does she say?
No, I don't think so. She gets bothered. No,
Not at all.
not at
But
all.
what is that one thing about you your wife doesn't like?
Not caring. Not like I don't care. Things don't get to me. So yeah, because people can insult me and I can reshare it, and it's like I can say I don't bother, and it sometimes not just the rest of the family. They're like also so there.
But what's that one thing she would want to change about you?
Probably.
You know, for me, when Uncle Ebo White asked me that question, it took me like a whole day for me to answer that. I stood down like, hey, Charlie, what kind of question be
I
this?
know, right? Maybe I think because of the situation we find ourselves in, she working, then I think maybe to be being available more, most likely, yeah.
But distant relationship is not.
It's not easy. Mine is even more special because even though my son is also in the US, my wife is not even with her. She doesn't get to see. So the boy is somewhere, she is somewhere, I'm also somewhere. So
oh really?
Yeah, it's quite.
Wow.
Yeah.
But do you get to spend time with them?
Yeah, at least 3 times a year I try to go there, and then they'll also come when they get the chance.
Wow. Ameyaw, thank you very much for coming. I really enjoy it. But I want you to listen to my new art. Listen to this new artist. His name is Yaw Darling. If you want him, I'm going to give him to you. I'm going to give him to you so you handle him.
No problem. I mean, I'm. You are the boss, so.
No, you are the man.
I'll just plug me in how we can help with the promotions and everything I did for you.
Okay, so the song and the video is coming out tomorrow, but I just want to play it on air so people get to have a feel of it. I discovered him on social media actually.
Oh, good.
I put out a post that I needed people to work with,
Talent.
and then they sent me songs. Well, I listened to him. I was like, okay, I feel like he's something else, and that's it. So yeah. Anyway, thank you very much for coming, Martinez. Thank you, Bulldog. Or you guys want to have a say before on the song we go?
Want to listen to Yaw Darling?
Yeah, that's Yaw Darling.